Alright, this is going to be the beginning or part one, I don't know how I'm going to do this, of twin cam conversion. We're doing first gen twin cam, 88 inch. Motor's 03, swing arm, tranny, well that's from an 03. Frames to 86, I think it was, 85, something like that, doesn't matter. All these frames are basically the same when it comes to this. This frame already, when I got it, somebody started twin cam conversion, had this cross member in, which mimics a Dyna cross member. Cut out the FXR cross member, weld that in, and then it comes with that piece of sheet metal, the box, and where the oil tank went. I think it's from Ramjet, I'm not 100% sure, but it's good to alleviate your kickstand problems. But then what happens is you end up with mismatched foot controls. You lose the right side, and then most guys weld a little block like this and run Dyna and then leave FXR on that side. I just put a Dyna cross member in. It's the way to go. Everything's even. You don't got to measure anything. It's kind of just, I mean, it really does just fit in there. I mean, that's just sitting there. It's not welded in. Couple things you could do. You could not run that cross member if you want to do a twin cam conversion and not run the oil tank. And then if you look down here, the drain plug for the transmission oil right there, that has a hole all the way through the pan. That goes to the actual tranny case. You can just tap that fitting and put it up there and not run the pan at all and not have to cut anything out. And then what you would do is not run the lines from the motor to these fittings here, plug those and just run your lines up to your pan, to your oil tank. Or you can do this. There's a couple other things that get involved. So when you do this conversion with the FLT swing arm, 02 and up, this pivot bolt's 3/4, not 5/8 anymore. The axle, it's not 3/4, it's 1 inch with eccentric adjusters. Everything here's got its good and bad. This you're not adjusting with an adjustable wrench or a box wrench. You gotta carry either the socket for it, 36mm, or they make a wrench specifically for baggers, so you can get in there when the bag's in the way. That's what I carry. It gets 90 foot-pounds, I think is what it is. So that's a little bit of a pain in the ass if you got to do your wheel on the side of the road. The other thing is, I know a lot of guys build these bikes and put tall suspension on them, and nobody really talks about this. When you run these big swing arms, whether it's this FL swing arm or a billet swing arm, if you're going to run tall suspension, this is also not the way to go. I think with the RT style strut, with the shock all the way, you know, straight and kind of back towards the end on this FL swing arm, you can run a 14. If you got the latest style strut, you can run a 15. But what goes on here, especially if you're running a billet swing arm, see what's going on there? If you run a stock FXR swing arm, you can fudge that a little because it's thinner up there in the cross member area, but not much. What you can do, if you really want to run this transmission, you can run the motor, run the trans, not run the pan. Tap the case like I said, move the plug up there, and then back here, that whole area you can cut behind where the pivot bolt goes through. This pan's not going to be there. This is just an eyesore. You can just cut it straight across, and then you won't have this problem. I don't like these bikes super tall. That's not what I'm building. This guy actually wants it even a little lower, so it's not going to be a problem. You can do this with 6-speed bikes also. They don't have the external lines, but that's basically what they do through the case where the gasket is and the seal. Not run the pan. You'd have to drill and tap the case where it comes through put oil fittings, run them up to your oil tank. Brake mount stuff, master cylinder. Gets a little involved with the exhaust also. You gotta remember, this isn't in the exact same spot as a Dyna. Dyna exhaust, you're gonna get an exhaust system, get Dyna. That usually works out, helps. These are this is factory for the FL exhaust. I usually leave these on and just make a bracket. They're super sturdy. Make a bracket from this to the muffler. Or if you got an earlier frame like this, I mean, this is the way to go. And don't have to run any of that stuff. You do run into some stuff with master cylinder. The easiest thing to do is just get a small master cylinder from any Japanese motorcycle, drill the holes, mount it to this plate, clean this plate up, run the line up, boom, to the original reservoir. Trying to think what else we got going on. Oh, the cross member. Okay, Dyna cross member. They're not as hard to get as some people think. I've done them a bunch of times. There's a ton of ways to get them. I'll explain a quick few easy ones. Somebody wrecks a Dyna. Okay, say this is a Dyna. It's in a dealership. Bike's not getting totaled out. It's going to get fixed. Harley cuts the neck off. Sends it to the factory. They take those numbers from the neck. They put it on a new frame. A brand new frame shows up at the dealership. Mechanic puts it all back together in that frame, so all the numbers match. Everything from here back, frame-wise, goes in the dumpster. So, hop the fence at your dealership. If you know the guy's a wrench, talk to the service department, something. If you got a friend that's a mechanic at a dealership, talk to him. I'm sure he'll know immediately once you start saying what's going on. Tell him, yo, cut me out that piece of frame. The other thing is, you go on eBay, there's a ton of frames hitting the back, crushed from all types of accidents. Guys usually want a couple $100 for them. I can't see a ton of people buying those frames. Email the guy, tell him, yo, I need this piece, cut it out, sell it to me, $100, whatever. That's usually what I pay for them. You run Dyna mounts on both sides, Dyna kickstand. Bike's going to be real tall. You are going to run tall suspension. You get a DX kickstand. That's the way to go. As this project goes along, I'll do more videos. But that's majority of the conversion. That's the problem stuff. Everything else is pretty much straightforward. Stock. Any questions, hit me up, just comment. I'll respond back. Alright? Hope this helps somebody.